Yemen's Houthi group has announced it carried out a joint long-range attack on Israel alongside Iranian and Hezbollah forces. It says it fired a ballistic missile targeting Lod Airport in the Jaffa area and key military targets.
نفذت قواتنا المسلحة.
The Yemeni armed forces, with God's help, carried out their fifth military operation, using a fissile ballistic missile and several drones targeting Lod Airport in the Jaffa area and vital military targets belonging to the Israeli enemy in southern occupied Palestine. This operation was conducted jointly with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Iranian army, and Hezbollah in Lebanon, and it successfully achieved its objectives.
Hundreds of people took to the streets in Israel on Saturday to demand an end to the war in Iran. Protesters gathered in Tel Aviv's main square, as well as in several major cities, including Jerusalem and Haifa. Demonstrations are held every Saturday against the Netanyahu government. Well, Rob McBride joins us now live from the Jordanian capital, Amman. Rob, so Israel has been coming under attack from Iran, from Hezbollah, and from the Houthis in Yemen. Meanwhile, we've heard an Israeli official saying that they're ready to hit Iranian energy facilities and that they're just waiting for the green light to be given from the U.S. What else are you learning about all this?
Yeah, that's right. It does seem as though senior defense officials in Israel have been briefing a number of media outlets in Israel. And so we are getting this picture being reported about the Israeli military preparing what the next phase of this air campaign against Iran will look like, with this particular focus now on, it seems, energy infrastructure, with talk about energy plants, power plants, and electricity distribution all being targeted very much in line with the Trump administration, with the possible threatened escalation in this air campaign, and with the military apparently saying that they will be ready to go within a few days or so, and at least in the next coming days, which seems to fit in sync exactly with this 48-hour ultimatum as issued now by President Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Netanyahu on Saturday evening issued a video statement just explaining exactly where the campaign is up to in his view. As we know, the air campaign has been expanding in its targets away from just military and regime targets in recent weeks, now looking at the more broader infrastructure of the whole of Iran, and with Netanyahu explaining that the so-called dual-use industries that serve both civilian and military uses are now targets, such as the steel industry. He says that Iran has lost 70% of its steel-making capacity, the justification being that steel from that is used in armaments production. The same goes for petrochemicals, which is now, he says, the focus of Israeli Air Force strikes, because some of the materials from there are used in the production of missiles, which now legitimizes, in his view, that they become a target. Meanwhile, one of those missiles we have had fired in the early hours of this morning. It's Sunday, which was fired from Iran. It was intercepted over the southern city of Beersheba, where it broke up, with no casualties being reported.
And Rob, as all of this is playing out, Israel is also intensifying its invasion of the south of Lebanon. What's the messaging like from the Israeli government to members of the public when it comes to this occupation and the goals that they've set out for Israel?
Yeah, it does seem as though the Israeli authorities are trying to brace the public for much more tougher fighting to come, also to give justification for why they are escalating this operation, emphasizing the threat, as they put it, from Hezbollah, saying that it is still a very potent force, that it still possesses numerous multiple rockets that get fired from these multiple rocket launchers across the border into northern Israel. In fact, it says it has enough to fire barrages of 200 rockets per day for a campaign of 5 months. So while there is still a majority support throughout Israel, the vast majority of people still think that war should be waged. There is a minority who is against the war, the way it's been fought, which is becoming more vocal. And we have seen on Saturday evening these larger protests gathering in cities like Haifa, Tel Aviv, people calling for an end of the war, with a number of clashes and a number of people being arrested. Mohammed.
All right, that's Al Jazeera's Rob McBride live for us with all the latest from the Jordanian capital, Amman. Rob, thanks so much for unpacking all that for us.